Hello, good people, and welcome to Hillbilly Cat History, where we explore the times, events, and people surrounding Elvis Presley. Thank you for choosing this video. In today's episode, Gladys Smith's Wild Elopement, Love, Scandal, and Lessons Learned. The Smiths' family fortunes had finally turned. For the first time in their lives, Bob and his family, including his spirited daughter Gladys, were living in the finest house they had ever known. There was more room to breathe, more reason to hope, and a new era was beginning for them all. But even as new dresses were stitched and sweet sodas sipped, a storm was gathering, one that would soon test Gladys's pride, heart, and future in ways she could never have expected. Gladys Smith's world was about to change forever. With a talent for sewing, a sharp eye for fashion, and a streak of youthful independence, Gladys was about to make some community-shaking choices from which she would learn hard, painful lessons. When interviewed in the early 1980s, Gladys's longtime friend Vera Turner, Cully Mitchell's daughter who lived across the road from Gladys when she was 5 years old, still owned the sewing machine she and Gladys used to sew new dresses for themselves and clothes for their families. Gladys was an excellent seamstress, and her creations had a flair which appealed to other young ladies like neighbor Earlene Horton. And over on the left, we can see a video from Lady Rebecca Fashions on YouTube. Lady Rebecca takes a deep dive into the creation of a 1910 era's dress. The dresses Gladys and Vera sewed themselves may have been very similar in design and technique. I didn't know anything about dressmaking. I learned a lot from that video. Lily Mae Irwin, operator of the general store with a depth of knowledge about good cloth goods, also noticed. She said Gladys always looked nice. She always wore pretty dresses. Lily may have noticed the attractive dresses because Gladys and her little sister Cletus made several trips a day to the general store to purchase small items of luxury, such as candy and sweet drinks, specifically knee-high soda. Bob needed money to repay his bank loan and to cover the expenses of his large family. As it was winter with no farming to be done, he took a job for Will Herring, 7 miles away. Bob walked back and forth on this 7-mile stretch for several weeks to dig a ditch for Will through some bottomland on his property. Bob also began scratching cemeteries, which in that period were not seeded in grass, so they did not need to be mown, but they did require regular weeding, known as scratching. Of the several cemeteries Bob maintained, his favorite was next to the Presbyterian Church in Spring Hill, near the Loomis farm, from which he had recently moved. Bob told various people, including members of the Presbyterian Church congregation, how much he loved this particular graveyard. Around the same time, Gladys dated Pitt Harris, who may have been 19-year-old Clarence Clifton Harris, almost exactly 1 year older than Gladys. Pitt described Gladys as fast and said she liked to play. Although this may be true, Gladys did not like playing with Pitt for long, as she was soon dating another man. Rex Stanford was the lucky fellow, and for him it was a serious courtship. Rex fell in love, dreaming he and Gladys would soon marry. Rex proposed. Vera Turner reported, Rex claimed Gladys, but she didn't claim him. He wanted to marry her. He was crazy about her. It wasn't his fault they quit. It was hers. She turned him down. In 1931, Gladys' sister, Retha Smith Lloyd, married Walton Green Riley, apparently having divorced Purvey, who lived until 1976. A new man caught Gladys' eye. New in the area, he was a sharecropper who worked in the fields, picking cotton with everyone else on the Burke farm, including Gladys, who found him handsome and alluring. Gladys attempted to discreetly pick cotton near the young man, but her attempts were noticed by another young woman, who must have also found the sharecropper handsome and alluring. The young woman confronted Gladys, embarrassing her in front of the entire farm by pointing out Gladys's obvious interest in the young man. Gladys didn't take the criticisms well, her anger building as she verbally told the young woman what she thought of her. The young woman shouted back some choice words of her own. Both women, insulted beyond what words could fix, flew together, slapping faces and pulling each other's hair in a frenzy, until others broke them apart. This may have been the fight Gladys had with a woman over a man, which Pibb Harris referenced when he stated, "We had to pull them off each other." Following the path blazed by her sister Retha 4 years earlier, Gladys eloped with the young farmer, only to discover the next day that he was already married. Gladys immediately returned home, ashamed and humiliated. Gladys's return home was a painful but formative experience. It was a lesson stitched into the fabric of her young life. Dreams, like dresses, could sometimes unravel in unexpected ways. But from the threads of humiliation and heartache, Gladys would weave a future far stronger than anyone could have ever imagined. Today, there are many Elvis tribute artists. Have you ever wondered who was the very first? Would it surprise you to learn that the very first Elvis tribute artist was a personal friend of Elvis Presley? Be sure to watch Hillbilly Cat History's guest appearance on the Ultimate Elvis Facts channel on YouTube to experience this amazing story for yourself. Tell them Hillbilly Cat History sent you. Thank you for joining Hillbilly Cat History as we explored this piece of the Elvis Presley puzzle. Stop on by anytime so we can chat again.